the Hisenior Cano Cristales. Let's talk about it. Now, this is a 2 dynamic driver 6BA IEM that costs around $400. This was acquired as a loan from fellow YouTuber Audio Amigo Reviews. I would encourage you guys to check out his reviews. He does good content. It's a lot of fun. Let's start by looking at the build quality of this IEM, and then we'll go from there. Build quality of this IEM is pretty nice. It's pretty standard from what you see from other Hiseniors and more expensive IEMs like the Mega 5 ESD and the Mega 5 ESD Bass. The nozzle's nice, it's metallic. It has a nice contour to the shell. Its faceplate is beautiful. It fits easy in my ear. And all around, I feel like it's a nice, solid feeling and looking IEM. Not hyper premium, not metal, but it looks and feels comfortable, and I think it is of acceptable build quality at this price. It includes a little leatherette puck case with a little button here on this. I mean, it's not bad. It has a little cable sync in there as well. It's a nice little puck case, nothing too exceptional, nothing too interesting. But again, nice case for when you need it, and it looks and feels nice. Red for right, blue for left. Really nice cable. It feels great on the hands. It's easy to tell which side is which. It has a nice chin slider. It stays in place pretty well. Nice Y split. It's a handsome color. It kind of goes with the flow of the IEM. You can change this out. You just have to unscrew it, kind of pull it off, put it back on, line up the little arrows, and you can put it back on together. There's also includes multiple different connectors for this. There's a 4.4 and the rarely used, or at least for me, 2.5. There you go. They're the connectors and the tips for you guys. Boom. So how does the Cano Cristales sound? Bold, engaging, very kind of V-shaped, and it is an exciting, engaging sort of a set that doesn't really fatigue me. And I think it's an engaging set, but I wouldn't really say it's the best set out there. I feel like there's kind of some problems with it for some people. Like if you're going after a neutral set, run. If you're looking for a bassy set, this isn't exactly what I would call the best value on the market for bass, but it does represent an energetic, bassy kind of tonality, meaning that your music is just going to be slightly out of that range of neutral, but it's going to sound nice, fun, and engaging. If you're looking for, man, I really want something different in my library. You already have some boring neutral sets like Truth or Pure. You really want something kind of fun. I think this is a good set for that regards. Let's look at some graphs so we can kind of talk a little bit more about the sound, but all around very bassy, very engaging, and a fun set. So let's get into some graphs. All right, let's look at the graph. When you notice there's a lot of mid bass, which is nice and kind of fun. There's a little bit of 4K and a little bit of 6K energy, which can lead this to be incisive, but for some reason this doesn't really fatigue me. I think maybe my sensitivity lies somewhere between 4 to 6K. But in this particular IEM, it doesn't feel super tinny and exhausting, but I think it's okay. I don't think it's fantastic, but it does have just a nice tonal balance. Like when I listen to it, it just sounds really nice and appropriate, and nothing is too far out of the realm of listenable. And so I do find this an extremely tolerable IEM, but if we normalize this at, say, I don't know, 700, you'll notice that is just a ton of bass and a ton of upper mids. And so the mids do feel like that, the lower mids region do feel a little bit cooked. And I would encourage people that, again, if you're looking for a neutral or studio style set or just an all-arounder, as some people call it, this is not it. This is an engaging, fun set. But I think it's effective and well done despite its energy and vibrance. We look at the other sets like the Hisenior Mega 5 EST, you'll notice that guy kind of hugs the target. It's a little bit, I mean, it has its minor problems, but the Mega 5 EST is one of those IEMs that gets a strong recommendation, especially for people that want that neutral set. It's a great little set. I mean, a lot of YouTubers just, they rail about how great the Mega 5 EST was. It kind of just lacked dynamics to me and came across a little bit bright. It was just kind of bleh. but it's a fine set that I think a lot of people are gonna like, and it's kind of one of those staples of the hobby. You can probably find one used at about the same price as the Cano Cristales, and it's something that you guys should check out. Like Hiseniors, it's really kind of like one of those almost legendary style sets, whereas like the Cano Cristales, I think is going to be forgettable. I'll be honest with you. I think it's forgettable. I think it's kind of not that great and that impactful. Like it's one of those sets I think in 2 to 3 months people are going to be like, oh yeah, Hisenior came out with another IM. So there you go. That's my feeling on that. Now this is an interesting comparison, like the Glacier versus the Cano Cristales. I think the Glacier is a little bit more in my wheelhouse, a little bit less of that thumpy bass. The Cano Cristales has like tons of bass, tons of excitement and energy and engagement, whereas the Glacier is just a little bit more laid back, a little bit more almost like V-shaped. I think depending on what you might like one or the other, but they both kind of have that problem with this extra K energy. Let's normalize this at 500 to get a better look, and you'll see how much higher that is than the target. That's something to note. Like one I want to talk about is, you know, people are raving about it, but it's kind of has like one of my problems with it is like the Daybreak. And if you look at the Daybreak, let's get rid of the Glacier to make that a little clearer. But you notice they both kind of have a little bit of extra upper mids, and they both kind of have that upper mids level. Now what the Daybreak does do is it kind of has this elevated like 300 to 500 hertz region. The Cano Cristales kind of goes lower, and so for me it kind of hits like female vocals really well, whereas the Daybreak kind of feels a little bit more rugged and rough. It's just a different tonality. It's something that you guys might like better, you might like worse, but just notice the similarities in these two and how they differ. I think that's an interesting comparison. Like the Daybreak, a lot of people are talking about as being a new benchmark. I think it's fine, and like, but it does represent really good value in the market, looking for a nice bassy set. So there you kind of go. As far as like the Hisenior Mega 5 EST bass, this is an interesting comparison. Well, you'll notice it does have like that different region where like the Mega 5 EST has even more of that 2K to 3K region raise, whereas the Cano Cristales has that dip, which kind of adds to almost, I don't know, just like a little bit more enjoyable, sweeter, like female vocals and something to note. But the bass, they both have the same bass level. So how they also differ is that the Cano Cristales has a ton more 3K, a ton more 4K, a ton more 7K, a ton more 8K. I mean, the rest of it's hard to debate, but it does have a lot more engaging upper mids. And so it's a different tonality that I think is effective, but both of these are far from neutral. Both of these kind of have some problems that some people are going to have issues with. So just something kind of to note and to think about. One IM that I would recommend is the Punch Audio Martillo, Martillo, the Hammer, as it was in Spanish, right? Two Spanish IMs, both with lots of bass. I don't know, maybe that's really big in South America or down south, or I don't know, maybe in Spain, but it seems like a lot of Spanish IMs have are bass head IMs. I really think the Martillo is done very, very well. I would prefer the Martillo over it. That doesn't mean the Cristales doesn't have value, but it doesn't mean that it's price leading. Like, to me, the Martillo has everything I would ever want in a bass head IM. Really crispy highs and the bass. And I can't explain that with the frequency response graph, like not even remotely. But for some reason, it just works really, really well. And it just sounds clean, crispy, resolute, and detailed to my ear. Well, the Cano Cristales, don't get me wrong, it is a clean, clear set, but I think people are gonna like, if I had to bet, you know, 10 audiophiles trying these both out, I think like 7 out of 10 of them are gonna like the Punch Audio Martillo or Marlito, I don't know, whatever, the Hammer better more than the River. So that's just kind of my take. There are other bass head IMs to try. Like if you want something that's kind of bassy and less upper midsy with a really great air and extension, something like the Afu Explorer is a really solid set. There's tons of options right now in the market, and so it's hard. It's almost congested, especially when you push up to this higher price region. The Cano Cristales from Hisenior. How do we rank it? Solid, A+. Decent IM, like solid, like good sounding, tolerable, engaging, fun. Dynamics, I'm giving a very solid 9.2. Its mids are a little bit cooked, but its treble is good. Its soundstage, its imaging, its just overall sound qualities are also good. As far as this goes at per price, let's look at this at the 200 or at the $400 region. I mean, the Cano Cristales, I feel like you get stuff that's a little bit more like vocal centric, like the Arcanus, which I think is better. The Volume S, which just has really great upper air and mids, just fantastic. Dunu Vulcan 2 is cheaper and I think better and a little bit more neutral. Really nice upper mids and detail, really great build quality. And then the Punch Audio, which is way cheaper, I think has better bass. And right around that $400, like my two darlings that I fully recommend, that I absolutely love, are the YU9Q Chue and the Zigat Luna. Those are the two IEMs that I fully recommend to you guys. And as far as brands go, I personally would recommend the Hisenior Mega 5 EST as the kind of go-to GOAT IEM. The Cano Cristales I think is a fine IEM. I think people are going to enjoy it. I would recommend people to demo it probably first, and I probably would give it like 3 stars. It's good. It just doesn't really hit me where I want for my music to be, but I do find it enjoyable, and that's part of what's going on with this hobby. Like, you know, I could maybe see myself giving it a 4-star, maybe even a 2-star, just kind of on mood, but it's a good IEM, just not great. I do think it's better than the Mega 5 EST bass. I think the Mega 5 EST bass just kind of suffers from being a little bit dull and stuffy, but it's a nice all-around IEM for people that want it. You know, the high-end market is kind of a funny place. Like, when does an IEM become cheap versus expensive? To some people, this is kind of cheap. Like, oh, $400 is just something they can drop like a hat. For other people, it's not. I think for audiophiles that have a ton of money, this represents a good value, a fun, dynamic, engaging set that I can't really think of anything on the market that sounds as good, and that's this engaging. I enjoy this set, and it gets a soft recommendation to audiophiles. But to mainstream people, like people that are gamers, people that are looking at their first IEM, the Punch Audio Martillo is gonna be the one that I would recommend to you guys. It's a really solid set, and I would recommend it if you're looking at something bassy with a little bit of, like, that's really good with hip hop with a nice crispy highs and mids. It's probably the way to go. This IEM is good, but it has like this flavored, engaging set that works with a lot of things and doesn't kind of work with some. So you kind of have to know what you're looking for and whether this matches what you want in your collection. Thus, this becomes a good specialist, maybe an expensive specialist depending on what you want, maybe cheap depending on your price category, but it becomes something where I think it does get a recommendation because I enjoy the sound of it, but it does get a hesitant recommendation because of how hot the upper mids and kind of upper air treble can be, but all around really nice sound. Thanks for watching my video. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye for now.
Go!
Go!
Go on with you!
You're mid, you're mid, you're mid, you're legendary. You're mid. Jaytis out.